Hey, Bigger Pockets, it's Matt. And today I want to talk about the investor-contractor relationship. Now, you could be one of those folks that are out there that just want to get the best, cheapest price out of your contractors and just want to pretty much just chew them up and spit them out. And there's people that I know that are in our business that probably go through 4 or 5 contractors in a year because they're just going in, they're burning them, they're burning through these contractors, maybe not paying them their final payment, finding a way to short the contractor, and they get an adversarial relationship with the contractor. And it comes into, who can short them, who can short the other person first. That's not what we do. You may save a few dollars by doing things that way, but you burn a lot of bridges, and you're not going to get a real long-term relationship with their contractor. So I like to have long-term relationships with my guys. The reason, this is the first thing, the reason why I like to have long-term relationships with my contractors is contractors can really help you if you have a relationship with them. If they trust you, there's a relationship. They can bail you out of trouble if you get yourself in trouble. They can work with you if there's some misunderstandings. They can maybe work with you to help the job get complete. It's not just about that one job, it's about the relationship. And so they might give you a really good deal on one job because they know that you might end up, like there's jobs that my contractor here, Pat's, worked with me on because I told him, listen, I'm a little short on this job and I need some help. And he'll do it. He'll take a little bit of a haircut knowing that I'll get it back to him on the next one. And so Pat's been willing to do that because we have that kind of a working relationship. Now, that's why I like that. Many other reasons aside from that, I don't have to train Pat every time on quality. He knows the quality that I like. He knows what kind of fit out we like in our apartments and at our houses and things like that. So that's why you want a long-term relationship. So putting that aside, the question is, investors a lot of times talk about, like, well, I want to find a good GC. How do I find good GCs and how do I interview? Well, you can also turn it around the other way and ask, how can I best as an investor contribute to the general contractor-investor relationship and be a good investor for my contractors so they want to work with you, right? So this is Pat Hall. Hey, Pat. How are you?
How you doing, Matt?
Pat is a contractor that's working with the DeRosa group for over a year now, and I decided to bring in here so you guys can meet him and he can tell us a bit about his perspective on working with real estate investors. So, scale of 1 to 10, how much of a pain in the butt are real estate investors, especially me, right? Scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10.
You can turn me into our audience here.
Actually, I'd have to put you at a 1 in terms.
Get out of town.
No. Really, it's important to work with an investor that has the same, I want to say, goal as you.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the most important relationships is to find a contractor. If you're an investor, find a contractor that fits your goals along with his or her goals.
Yeah.
And that way you grow together, and the communication is so much better when you're on the same goals.
So when you say goals, I think about like a goal of quality that you want to achieve as a contractor.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because I don't work with contractors that are willing to, bury problems and sweep things under the rug and do things without permits and stuff like that. Pat's not that guy. He's not that contractor. He's not going to shortcut the system and things like that. And I'm not that guy either. So I hear that. And so the first thing is have a contractor that's aligned with your standards for quality and standards for integrity too. So yeah, keep
absolutely
going.
Because what happens is, if you're the kind of investor that says, hey, I want to make sure everything goes by the book so it doesn't come back to bite me later on, you want to make sure you have a contractor in there that says that, hey, you need a permit for this and willing to go get it and not shortcut it and do it. So the same goals as a contractor, I like to make sure that when I leave a job that I can sleep at night. It's safe for the individuals who are going to be living in that house. And in order for me to feel that way, I have to have a relationship with the investor that feels the same way in order for that to connect.
Got it. So same level of quality standards, right? Integrity too. How can investors that are looking for good contractors, the people that are just getting started or looking to expand their business, how can they find good contractors in their network? Now, people that are watching this from all across the country, so how can they find people like yourself that have integrity, they're willing to do the right thing by the business?
I don't know. I think that you really have to analyze the contractors that you use. And it doesn't take long to find out if that person is on the same path as you're on. Maybe a contractor who is doesn't have 30, 40, 50 years experience because that individual is so used to doing things one way.
You're not going to change them.
So you're not going to change them. So maybe finding a contractor who's maybe 5, 6 years in the business, who's gotten their foot wet and ready to go, you can actually mold together and move forward.
Here's what I think. I think good people know good people, right? So if you've got a good vendor, that's like the way I met Pat was through my architect, and I had a great relationship with our architect, and that did a really good job by our business. And so I said, hey, do you happen to know any good contractors? And he said, yeah, I do. And he introduced me to Pat. I've been referred to contractors by plumbers and by electricians or whatever, by other people that are in the business that are good people. And there's other people that if you've got a guy who is pretty sure he's not going to have the best integrity, doesn't have the best attention to quality, there may cut corners here and there, consider that person's probably not going to refer you to other people that you might want to work with. So they might be cheap, they might be the lowest price, but they're probably going to maybe cut a corner every here and again, just my 2 cents. So I met Pat through another person that had high integrity, high attention to quality, all those things, just like Pat does, and that's how I got to meet you. So any other tips on how people can meet good contractors to expand their business?
The only other thing I could think of is if you're searching different houses that have been completed. Maybe if you actually go into a few places, who did that?
Who did that
exactly?
work?
Who did that work?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Good. Well, listen, guys. Just the notes to take home are: find somebody who's got the same level of quality and integrity that you do. Good people know good people. Right? That's something. And I'll say that we haven't really talked about this, but don't always go for the contractor with the lowest price, because understand that a lot of the time the lowest price is going to mean the lowest quality. Not all the time. Yeah, but we have a good relationship around that. We kind of both agree and understand what things should cost and what the quality is going to deliver for that. But at the end of the day, make sure that you don't always go for the cheapest bidder. And if somebody comes in at a really, really low price that seems too good to be true, the odds are it probably is. So, Pat, thank you. Pleasure working with you always. And guys, thank you for watching. If you want to leave some comments below, get into some conversation, I'll see if I can get Pat to join Bigger Pockets so he can jump into the conversation too and get into a conversation with you guys always. So I look forward to those conversations, and thank you so much for watching, and have a great and profitable week.